All right, let's get into some cautions and awareness of them. Basically, you got to be really careful about certain things. Delicate surfaces, for one. You need to be cautious with marble, granite, natural stones in general. You never want to use a vinegar or any sort of acidic cleaner on them. You want to use pH neutral products, okay, on stone. So you're not going to use the certain, the specific ones that, we showed you before, okay? There's a special one, and you can find it at Operations that is specifically for natural stone, and it's pretty obvious where it's at. So also you want to you make sure and dry the surfaces. You don't want there to be etching or spotting. Natural stone is very aquaphilic, right? It wants to slurp up all the sort of moisture that you put in there. So if you're not sure of what a surface is made for or made of, ask. Always, before you put something on a large expensive piece of natural stone, test in an area you can't see, okay? You want to see what happens before you do it, and it's worth the extra few seconds. So you want to make sure and use soft cloths because, abrasive surfaces might scratch or scuff the area. So make sure and use a microfiber cloth, right? So also some cautions as far as the electronics and cords, okay? So don't spray directly onto electronics, TVs, remotes, power strips, things like that, right? You want to use a lightly damp cloth and wipe it gently. The reason why we're doing that is because when you spray onto it, it might get in between the buttons and short out, right? And then I'm buying a new TV. So avoid using XX waters near cords. Never unplug a customer's device without, being asked to or asking to. Those are really important things. It might be something that, is hooked up to a medical machine or whatnot. So be sure to ask, okay? So let's see. As far as like artworks, pictures, picture frames, things like that, certainly never spray directly on the art or near the art. You want to dust it, okay? We've got an ostrich feather duster. Those are perfect, okay? Get the dust off of there, but we're not wiping a piece of artwork clean, okay? That's a different type of job. Avoid moving or recentering artwork unless they ask you to. Be mindful of cracked frames or loose glass, things like that. You would hate to have that shattering glass sound happen on you. So as far as blinds and curtains, this is one that's important to talk to because a lot of people will ask you to clean the blinds, right? You need to be really careful when dusting plastic or aluminum blinds because too much pressure either bends them or they have this little thing where you can just pull them right off, right? And that's not going to be good. So for curtains, use a duster or vacuum with the soft brush attachment. You don't want it to actually suck to there. You just want to, vacuum the dust off, okay? So don't remove the blinds or curtains. That's really, really important because getting them back on sometimes can be a real challenge, time-consuming process. If you're using any sort of a cleaner on the textile, on the fabric, make sure and spot test it first. Again, in an area you won't be able to see. Okay, so pets in the home, right? So this is something that, we need to keep mindful of, right? There's a caution there, okay? If we weren't okay with pets, we'd be in the wrong line of work. So obviously you're gonna meet some doggies and kitties and, birds and hamsters and all of that, right? It's really important to close doors behind you to prevent pets from escaping, right? Even if they're just there, chilling out on the bed. You just don't want them to get away. This one time, dog ran out the front door, took off down the block. It was in Sun City, and the dog just started running circles in the middle of an intersection, and it really freaked us out. So we ran down there, got the dog, brought it back, and everything turned out okay. But you don't want to know that feeling when you think you just like possibly killed somebody's pet, by letting him out. So. Another thing to keep in mind is never feed or touch a pet without permission. Maybe they're being trained. Maybe they are known for being aggressive, right? So maybe they're a rescue dog that used to be beat. You just never know, one watch out for litter boxes, pet beds, fur buildup, things like that. You want to make sure and do what you can to get those clean. Avoid vacuuming directly around the pet. It's going to freak them out, right? If you need to vacuum, they're usually going to run off anyway. So, you know, so anyways, unstable furniture or items, right? They look like maybe they're breaking, or you see a, you know, leaning table or thing like that. You know, you want to make sure and just treat them very gently, try to work around them. Certainly never climb on or stand on furniture to reach high places like a couch. You don't want to stand there. Either you're going to leave your feet prints on the cushion, or you're going to, you know, break something. So you just really don't want to do it. So, you know, if you do need to get up high, make sure and use a safe step stool. We provided some that can handle a lot more weight, right? So that they are more stable. Okay. Ask for help if something seems unsafe, right? That's really important. And never mix chemicals. Again, we have a whole section on that for a reason. Okay. When you mix bleach and ammonia, you can create something that'll kill you and everybody in the house. So we don't want to do that. You know, always store your chemicals upright in your totes, okay? Don't let them tip over or flop around in the big section. There's a section just for them. Make sure they stay in there, okay? And wear gloves when you're using strong products, right? So if you're using a degreaser, it's a good idea. Just protect your hands, right? You don't want them to dry out and start cracking, all right? So some things to keep in mind as far as customer belongings, okay? Try to avoid opening any drawers. Actually, never open drawers unless you're actually cleaning inside the drawer. Cabinets, keep them closed. Closets, unless they, of course, are asking you to clean inside there, keep it closed. You know, be cautious when you're moving personal items. Avoid knocking things over, you know. Some people have knickknacks. They might be really expensive, right? So stay mindful of that. If there's pre-existing damage, snap a picture of it, all right? Just, you know, protect us, get my back on that one. You know, report any accidents immediately. We have the damage report, make sure and use it, okay? I don't want the customers to think that we are trying to take advantage of them, and you're not gonna be trouble if you tell us, if we find out from the customer that you didn't, you know, then we're gonna have to talk. So, let's see, so, you know, pro tip here would be to wear closed-toed shoes, all right, with good grip, that we don't slip or anything like that, and using proper ventilation when using strong products. Okay, guys, those are the two big takeaways. So, yeah, anyways.